On Sunday, December 7, 1941, just before 8 a.m., Japanese airplanes and submarines attacked the United States fleet stationed at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. More than 2,400 American military personnel were killed in the attack. The following day, the United States entered World War II, and we are here this day to commemorate that event.
The sounds of enemy planes are still etched over the crisp blue skies of Pearl Harbor, in contrast to the sacred silence above the Arizona, where multitudes continue to honor the lives of those fallen on that day of infamy in the war to end all wars.
We call your attention to this small table, which occupies a place of dignity and honor. It is set for one, symbolizing the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families, so we join to pay humble tribute to them and to bear witness to their continued absence. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner, alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose in the vase signifies the blood they may have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who keep faith while awaiting their return. The red ribbon on the vase represents an unyielding determination for a proper accounting of our comrades who are not among us. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they wait. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors to the open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many of them may never return and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Let us pray to the Supreme Commander that all of our comrades will soon be back within our ranks. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. Let us remember.
It's staggering, the amount of people that have given the ultimate sacrifice for this country. But we can't forget, and we come together and we remember what happened December 7th, over 74 years ago. That's how we keep their memory strong, and that's how we say to people, the next younger generation, and saying, look, freedom isn't free. I love when I go to the Patriot Garden Leatherstock, and I believe one of them shirts say, if you can read this, thank a teacher. If it's in English, thank a veteran. And to me, it sums it all up. When you enjoy the freedoms of this great country, and we are the best country in the world, it's because people did the ultimate sacrifice, or went off and served their country, and still sacrificed their life and came home. So I want to say to all the veterans again, thank you. Thank you to everyone for putting this on and having their memories for the over 888 people that lost their lives on the attack of Pearl Harbor. And thank you again for being here.
And one of the things I'll mention about my dad, even though this may get me thrown out of the will, my dad is a World War II and Korean War veteran, and he used to speak sometimes at schools about World War II. And he would ask the students, how much of your history book now covers World War II? And they say about a page and a half. And I think to myself, here was a war that changed the face of the planet, that saved people all across the globe, that preserved democracy from here to eternity practically, and it gets a page and a half in our textbooks in school now. I think about the fact that the men who used to sit with us at the ceremony and what they faced, and what all those who served during World War II faced, some as young as 16, 17, 18. They hadn't been out of their hometowns probably, or certainly out of the state, and they got on troop ships and they went across the ocean and they defended democracy. My dad will tell you, oh, I wasn't doing anything special, I just did what everybody else was doing. And I say, yeah, you were just saving the world, no big deal, you know. Well, you know, to all of our veterans, it is a big deal. It is a huge deal, whether you served in World War II, whether you served in another wartime, whether you served in peacetime. Because anytime you put on the uniform of the United States military, you are a target. And I thank you for your service. I thank you for the sacrifice. I thank you for putting your life on hold so that you could preserve our lives and our lifestyle here in this country.
We live in a wonderful, diverse country where people are free to practice their religion, to have their own opinions, and to have their voices heard. And so whether it's protesters who are telling me that they don't like a decision that I've made, or whether it is people who are marching for changes that they want to see in our state government and in our federal government, that is why we are here. Because without the sacrifices made by the people in this room, they wouldn't have the right to make their voices heard.
The one that I'll never ever forget, and I want to emphasize for this story, this thin captain, Air Force type, gets off, and I want to emphasize all the POWs. They were skinny. There were no fat ones. Walk off the airplane, picks his wife up, gives her a big hug, twirls her around, and he goes into the car. He goes in the back seat, and he went in first. And most of us, I think, we would let our ladies go in the car first. He didn't. He went in first, and we thought maybe he's still a little messed up and wasn't thinking, and that's going to be okay. What I saw next, I'll never ever forget. This little lady, who's not even 5 foot tall, she reaches in and with one hand grabs his shoulder and pulls him right out of the car. And we're all wondering, what the heck is going on? You could hear a pin drop. And then I saw the lady do this. And if you could visualize a flatbed trailer with bunting around it, some chairs for some VIPs. What she was pointing at when you looked at that trailer, there was a little 7-year-old boy, and he was saluting. He was saluting his daddy that he had never ever seen. And that captain, ramrod attention, clicked his heels, and he saluted his son back that he was seeing for the first time.